It's the holiday season.
The holiday season.
And it's filled with expectations
it certainly is.
From parties and presents to what kind of reactions you're going to have at family gatherings.
It's so hard to navigate as adults. So imagine what it must be like for our kids.
Yeah.
Psychologist Dr. Laura Saunders is here this morning to help us all manage some of those expectations and communicate a little better before the end of the new year.
Morning, Doc. How are you?
I am well. Happy Thursday and happy December 1st Eve. Can you believe that tomorrow is December 1st?
Look at you with the eves.
You with the Eve. We love it. All right. So parents carry a lot of stress to manage the expectations this time of year. What are some of the things we can do to improve how we communicate with our kids?
So you're bringing up a good point. There's a lot of expectations. There's a lot of stress. There's financial worries. There's time. There's all sorts of things to manage. And this is a time where we need to kind of focus a little bit on communicating a little bit better with our children so that things go a little bit more smoothly. And so the number one thing that I want parents to do is learn to say no and set limits without guilt.
That's kind of hard when especially when they're asking for the specific Barbie doll that they saw on television and that there's no way that you're going to get this particular doll for their kids.
Well, I tell George if he wants something specific, I tell him to put it on his list for Santa. And, you know, Santa can't obviously fulfill everyone's lists, right?
That's true. That's true.
That's how I handle it. But I don't know. What is your take on that, Doc?
Yeah, so setting up, again, managing expectations so that it's reasonable. I mean, I don't get everything that I want, and that's a life lesson we've all had to learn. And so that the second part of that is keeping our own emotions in check when we feel like our kids are losing control, right? So I had an example recently of a parent who was really angry at their child. The child did something egregious, and they actually took some time to calm themselves down because they knew that engaging in a conversation or communication with their child when they were heated was going to go nowhere. And so it's regulating your own emotions as a parent is really important to communicating more effectively.
That's a great idea.
It is so hard, though. But it takes practice. But, you know, I mean, we grew up, right? If we were doing something and it was ticking our parents off, what do? They yell at us.
Yeah, they yelled at us.
Or if we're being loud, they yell at us to be quiet. So I understand from a child's perspective that it's like counterintuitive. Why are you telling me to be quiet when you're yelling at me? But it's so hard to regulate our emotions, to take that extra pause when we've grown up under the model of, you know, just the opposites like that.
Right, but I think that's a good point, Nicole, because many of us grew up under that, we're actually trying not to do it because it's not necessarily an effective strategy.
Yeah.
And the other part to this is focusing on the behaviors that you want to see, the pro-social and positive behaviors, and not just the behaviors that you don't want to see. Stop doing this, don't do that, you always do that. You're focusing on the negative as opposed to, I saw you put your dish in the sink, thank you. Your laundry was off the floor and it was in your laundry basket, thank you, right? So focusing on the positive and pro-social behaviors gives attention to what you actually want them to be doing.
I like the example that you've also included for us saying, you know, in the case of George, for example, like don't hit your sister, instead say safe hands and feet, or hands are used for writing, not for hitting. I like that to kind of deflect from the negative. Yeah.
So that's right. That's the positive and pro-social aspect. And as part of this, we're also learning healthy ways to apologize. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And sometimes it's about saying, I'm sorry, I didn't handle that well. I'm going to work on doing it differently next time, because you're modeling that sense of acknowledgement that you did something wrong and that there's an opportunity to fix it.
Doc, we're out of time. We're so sorry, but we want to wish you a great holiday. We'll see you again soon.
All right. See you next week, and we'll see you over on the wax. Have a great day.